Hey, Kansas City, I'm coming to Ameristar this coming Friday the 31st and Saturday the 1st. Calling now to get your name on the list for a rare Midwestern meetup game. Hope to see you all there. Last time on The Drawing Dead was all about getting to Vegas, hiding out for a day, squeezing from the small blind to fund my carrot cake addiction, and surprising Andrew Neeme for his 40th birthday. Little did I know that drinking peanut butter whiskey all night would cause next day side effects.
Why'd you bring us here?
And the living will have this world again. I'ma wake up, do damage. Join number 7, Z's boredom. Working on nothing anymore, though. I'ma wake up, do damage. Join number 7, Z's boredom. Working on nothing anymore, though. You feel trippy, I fit it out. Hop in my car and get it out. Secure the vacuum, get the buzz. Pick it up.
Good morning. On the walk from Vidara to Bellagio, and I'm hurting this morning. Not gonna lie. Might have consumed a tad too many alcoholic beverages last night, but we're gonna try to not let that slow us down today, Sunday, especially since I'm leaving tomorrow. So the plan right now, since Bellagio is right next door, and I'm not feeling the best, is to try to jump in a 2-5 game or 5-10 game at Bellagio, see how that goes, see how I feel, then maybe migrate over to the Aria, or migrate over to the Wynn. I think I have some plans out at Red Rock later. So I got a full day ahead of me, hangover or not. My hangover wasn't bad, but it was bad. I probably should have opted out and not played 5-10, and instead looked for a 2-cent, 7-cent game someplace. But like everything else, I figured I could just power through it. Luckily for me, I didn't have to make any real decisions early in the session. Most of the playtime decisions I made were pretty cut and dry, like calling $30 from the small blind. Seeing a king-high flop out of position versus 4 players, this is just an easy fold, even to a 1/3 pot-size bet, which is fine. I really didn't want to play this hand anyway. I edited out a bunch of hands that looked very similar to this one, for brevity's sake. I'd look down at a decent starting hand and open the betting, in this case, the cutoff, to $30. A couple people would call. In this case, these people would be the button in the big blind. We'd see a flop that wasn't great for my hand, but wasn't awful either, so I'd c-bet. This one is of the $40 variety, and here, both button and big blind call again. The turn improves nothing. Like, nothing at all. I decide to check it back here when the big blind checks. The button, though, he bets $110, and the big blind calls pretty quickly. Another fold for me. In a vacuum, this is a standard poker hand. In reality, these $30 and $40 bets start adding up quickly. This hand I win, but I don't win it because I should have won it. I won it because the villain basically gave up before the hand started. Pete. I open it up in middle position with Jack 9 suited to $30. Maybe a bit on the looser side, but so be it. Action folds to the small blind and she attempts to limp in. The dealer tells her that I raised, she glances back down at her cards again and then calls. How strong do you think her hand is? Do you think that people do that with the ace-king suiteds and the pocket tens of the world? Probably not. It's way more likely that she has a medium strength hand at absolute best. Right? Heads up, we see a flop of ace-8 deuce with 2 spades. Insanely good for my range, not to mention decent for my actual hand. Not so much going on for her though. Maybe she flopped middle pair. She checks, I bet $40 and she instantly grabs chips, then thinks about it for a second, then calls. The turn pairs the deuce and she checks again. I actually check it back like I might do with a big ace with no real draws on board. The river 4 clubs bricks everything, and now she leads out for $30. A blocker bet, at best. I raise it up to $140 and she lets it go. A famous poker player once said, everything you do at the table conveys information. He might be right. You guys want to call this the mid-session update? Sure, the mid-session update is here. And what can I tell you guys? I'm running like not good. I'm running like not good. Playing Bellagio 510, cap 1500. I'm in the game for 1500. I think I have 600 in front of me. In the last 3 hours, I've won 2 hands, and I've missed everything else. I've missed flush draws, I've missed straight draws, I've missed pair draws, I've missed 2 pair draws, and I'm running into the top of everybody's range. And I'm lucky I'm only down 900. I should be happy about that. But you know what I'm gonna do now? I'm gonna sit out here, I'm gonna get some air, I'm gonna rethink some things, like my life choices. Then we're gonna go back in there and we're gonna get it. Get it. Some people have been sending me pics of them playing with the Kevin. That's King 7 suited. This is King 7 offsuit. This is a horrid, horrid hand. Fold this. Don't hurt yourself out there. I don't want this session to be misconstrued. It wasn't all running bad and flop dead. A lot of it was just me playing horribly. You can chalk it up to whiskey the night before, or you can chalk it up to too many drinks at Velveteen Rabbit. You can chalk it up to whatever you want. Bottom line, I was playing really, really badly. Like here, one limp and I raise in middle position with ace-5 offsuit to 40. Huh? My image isn't the best because I've been losing pot after pot. Hell, the chip runner just brought me more chips, and this is how I treat them. Needless to say, the limper calls. So we see a flop of king 6-7 rainbow, and the limper checks it over to me. Heads up, this is a pretty good board to c-bet, right? But do I do that? Oh no, I check it back for some odd reason. The turn pairs the 7, and now the limper bets $40 and I just fold. Just fold. Why'd I even play this hand? The Bellagio 510 is a timed rate game. I would have been better off just turning to the guy and handing him $40 pre-flop and moving on to the next hand. Would have at least saved some time. So bad. Funny how individual poker sessions seem to work. No matter how long the session, a lot of the time there seems to be one hand, just one, that determines if you're a winner or a loser for that session. That's one of the many reasons individual sessions don't really matter that much. But I digress. For this 510 Bellagio session, this is that hand. An early position player opens to 40. I don't really know too much about him besides he appeared to like calling a lot. That's followed by late position player call, me calling on the button with Jack 10 offsuit, and the small blind calling as well. 4 of us take a flop. Ace 10 8 rainbow. The small blind checks and the opener continues for $160, which causes the late position player to quickly fold, and the action is now on me. I remember at the time thinking, why is this guy betting pot into 3 players? Seems kind of big. Looking back at the board, it's actually not bad for me. Middle pair and an ambitious backdoor straight draw. The board isn't bad for an early position opener to c-bet either. So I elect to call, looking to pick up some equity on the turn, and the small blind quickly releases. Heads up to the turn, and to say that I picked up equity is an understatement. The 10 of spades peels off. The opener continues, this time for $350. I tank for a bit to go over my options. Folding? No. I could call, but why? I'd risk a scare card coming off like another spade, or him completely shutting down and not putting another cent into the pot. Clicking it back to 700 is an option too. I have 1260 left, and that would set up a trivial river shove, but that screams strength. I don't want to scream strength. So I elect to just shove. Shoving is what someone who plays draws aggressively might do. I'm hoping he will think that there'd be no reason for someone with trips to shove. Plus, I have enough behind that he might think I'm trying to scare him off his hand. Mullen. He snap calls. He calls so fast that my stomach sank. Shit, I must have run into a boat. The dealer tosses me the all-in button and peels the 7 of hearts on the river. Not much too scary about that card. I table my trips, waiting to see his boat, and he mucks. And that's how I cured my hangover. Immediately after winning that hand, I got must move to the main game. And even worse, the 1 seat. I hate the 1 seat. A couple hands later, I got a pretty special form of the Kevin. This is the Kevin Hart. It pretty much plays itself.
Hey, what I do? You know what I did, all right? okay? Hey, let me tell you something. I put that key in that door and locked that motherfucker, didn't I? Hey, okay?
Back at Bellagio Valet for another update. In this update, things are a little bit different than they were in the last update. I figured out how to make a hand, I figured out how to win some pots, and hell, I just got the full double up. And then right after that full double up, I got moved over to the main game. And now it's time to figure out a whole new set of villains. And here we go again, new tables, new players, same old me. Up to the same old hijinks. The last hand I played, before going out, I looked down at King 7 of Hearts. The Kevin, if you will. Limp limp, I make it 60. Original limper calls. Flop is a bunch of nothing, checks around. Turn is an ace, which is beautiful. He checks again. I down bet $50 and he just folds. The Kevin being the Kevin. So back into Bellagio 510. Let's finish this thing strong and get out of here. My flight doesn't leave until tomorrow morning at 8. I think in a little bit I'm going to meet up with a friend of mine, maybe grab some food. Then what do you say, an overnight session? Just play right through and then catch the flight? What's wrong with me? Absent-minded and still a little bit hungover. I don't remember what I was in that game for, and I know I didn't wrap up the whole thing into session. So I was either in the game for $1,700 or $2,000 and cashed out at $31.85. So up pretty decently either way. And now it's on to the next thing. So taking a small break from the strip with my friend Jana, and we are at South Point Casino. Gonna get some food, Might do some gambling, but probably no poker here. So I'll catch you guys, I don't know, a couple hours. So if it wasn't bad enough that she blew money with slot machines, now we're at the Aria, so she can blow money on roulettes. Although I had planned on trying to get in another session before leaving, it was late and I was tired. Very little chance that that combination was going to produce a good outcome, so I called it a night. So with that, another Vegas trip in the books, a successful surprise party for Andrew Neeme, but now it's time to head back to St. Louis. Back to St. Louis and back to the grind there. So if you like the vlogs, make sure to hit the thumbs up icon, leave me a comment, I'll probably respond, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time. Bye. Who needs all those clear skies and Vegas sun when you have ice, snow, and fog back in Missouri? And witness the nastiest thing I've ever done at the poker table. Ever. Next time on The Drawing Dead. It's Thursday, January 23rd, about 4:30 in the afternoon. It's snowing, and I'm standing out in the cold in a short sleeve shirt to make this intro because I'm a dumbass. I can honestly say, I don't think I've ever done that before. I don't think I've ever been that nasty to someone ever in my life. It felt like I looked down at ace-queen offsuit a lot this session. Like in this hand where I open a 30 and get 5 callers. I ended up flopping an ace on an ace-jack-7 with 2 spades board and betting $100 when check to. But before the action can get on to the turn, I get re-raised to $550 and then there's a re-raise shove for over $2,000. I fold. Epilogue? The re-raiser ends up winning this hand with ace-7 for a flopped top and bottom pair. So of course I find myself at 6:30 in the morning waiting. I figured out how to win a hand. I figured out how to win. Let's finish this drink. Let's finish this. My flight doesn't leave until tomorrow morning at 8. I had honestly planned on playing a last session at the Aria after leaving the South Point. But after hearing from Olga that her and JV were over at the Cosmo, I scrapped that plan to go hang out for a bit. So we still got time for at least another session, right? I don't remember what I was in for. I'll have to check the app. The funny thing is I don't even remember what I was in for. I'll have to, so up over $1,000 either way. Okay, now so here we are, jamming with the damn early morning airport flights. One of these days I'm gonna figure out not to book my flights so damn early. If you like the vlogs, so with that, another Vegas trip in a book. So with that, So with that, another Vegas trip in the books, a successful surprise party for Andrew Neeme, and it's time for me to take my... But we're gonna try to not let that... There was a big hand that happened with me holding pocket nines. I remember I lost about $700 in this hand. However, I didn't take any notes on it, so I have zero clue what the board was or what some of the action even was. However, I do remember the pain.
So stupid. I hate this camera. I can't even look at it. I'm looking at you.
Yeah, look at the South Point Casino with what's your name? At the South Point Casino with Jonna.
I know.
Hard taste in music reflect our everyday lives. Around 10 or 12 years